Facebook.
Live on Instagram. What's up, Instagram?
Yeah.
All right, let's fix the
All right.
cameras here. We are live on YouTube. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 4th episode of the Everyday Heroes live broadcast, brought to you from the Eastern Division Young Adult Program. I'm Chris Toto, way in the back here.
Hey, I'm Craig Larson, and have we got a show for you? I'm really excited this evening. You can see we've got the screen here in between us. We've got a special guest this evening, right from our national office, the guy who is in charge of marketing, Steve Binns. If you have not met Steve Binns, well, tonight is your chance. We hope that you tune in, you listen well, because I think we're going to have a good show. Steve Binns, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Excited.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
We're pumped to have you.
We absolutely are. So, Steve, let's just do a little intro. Tell us about yourself, who you are, where you live, just some basic info.
Sure. Steve Binns. I'm the marketing manager at the national office of the National Ski Patrol in Lakewood, Colorado. I live in Denver currently, which is town over from Lakewood. And I've been with NSP for 2.5 years. I've been in the Denver area for, 7 or 8 years now at this point. And I'm originally from Massachusetts.
Wait,
so
did you hear that?
Oh, look at
He's
that shirt.
originally from Massachusetts.
A little place called Attleboro.
Yeah, represent.
So from Attleboro, Massachusetts.
And it's funny, Steve. We have a mutual friend from Attleboro because I used to work down there. And it was,
we do. One of my best friends growing up, Chris Sharon. He used to work with Chris.
Yeah,
Wow.
shout out to Sharon. Yeah, so
At Bishop T.
yeah, crazy how you meet people from all over, and especially in the ski patrol world, you always know somebody. You always have a mutual friend. It's crazy.
Yeah, I keep running across that a ton.
Yeah.
And so grew up in Mass, went to school in Vermont, went to the University of Vermont, and graduated in 2006. And after that, me and 9 other buddies hopped in a car on October 6th, 2006. Know the exact date, and drove cross country for about 2 weeks and landed ourselves in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where did the ski bum thing for 5 years.
Okay.
So my one season turned into I've heard summer's fun here. Turned into can't leave before the winter. Turned into 5 years later.
Wow.
And now you're the marketing manager for the National Ski Patrol. What a journey, huh?
Yeah, it's been a good one too. It's great.
And I think we're going to jump into that. And just a reminder for everybody watching at home, keep watching throughout the whole broadcast because Steve has some swag to give out here. So stay tuned till the end, about a half hour, 40 minutes or so. And you might have a good chance to win some free swag.
As always, if you have questions, if you have comments for Steve, you have something specific you want to ask, as we go through, feel free to shoot those in the chat. We'll ask Steve and see what he has to say. So, Steve, before you came over to National, what were you doing prior to that? What was your background?
So in Jackson did the whole ski bump thing. So worked in a hotel, worked in a law firm for a year. But I was actually my first job in Denver was at another association called the American Cheese Society. So that is a thing.
Yes.
So I was a marketing assistant there, and then I turned into their events manager or marketing and events manager for the national or the American Cheese Society. So I was there for 5 years. About 5 years. And then from there, I did a lot of the social media for them. I did all their event planning. We had a 1,400 person conference that happened every summer all over the country, where we had 1,400 cheeses from all over the United States and Canada shipped in to be judged. Which is really, really interesting and cool. Yeah. And then a regular conference where it's education on how to make cheese, how to sell it, tastings, and the American artisan cheese industry in America has grown a ton since the 80s when that first happened. So
that's great. Wow. Well, and it's funny. I'm sure you got some good cheese perks there, but you definitely get the snow perks working for the NSP. That's it's like the best of both worlds. You live the life, man. That's very
exactly. Cool. Our wedding, my wife and I made sure we called up the cheese people for a little bit of help for our wedding, which is awesome, which we really appreciated. But now I get to reap the benefits of NSP and all the fun stuff, the more expensive stuff too.
Yeah. So how do you go from cheese to NSP?
What was it like? Like, what were you when you first applied, when you got that job? What was it like? Like, what were you thinking going into the National Ski Patrol? What were your first thoughts?
One, I was just stoked. Obviously, I talked about it my entire whole growing up and college life and post-college life all revolved around skiing. And that's like how I've always kind of almost every decision I've ever made has had skiing involved in one way or another. So going into working for NSP, it was just a no-brainer. I was really stoked to be able to get involved in the ski industry. Again, learn another aspect of the ski industry that I was familiar with, but not 100% familiar with, we should say, but not an expert on by any means.
Yeah.
And I was just really excited to when I got hired, and I got hired on to starting out with just mainly their event side of things, taking over Powderfall, and while learning, it's big learning curve because any job change, you have to learn the ins and outs, the history, all that stuff. But overall, I was really excited, and I think it was. I remember when I gave my 2 weeks at ACS, and my executive director going, "I'm not even going to try to convince you because we don't have, we can't keep you. We know." And so they got it. It was a match made in match made in heaven at the time, for sure.
Sure. Yeah, and the idea for our having you as our guest tonight is right. We think about the everyday heroes of the NSP, which is kind of like what this is about, and looking at the young adult program. But we think you bring a really unique perspective as quote unquote an outsider. Not that you're an outsider anymore, but somebody who just came into it. Like, did you ever have any experiences with patrollers or NSP besides like ducking ropes or something like that?
Personally, knock on wood, I'm lucky. I never have had to. I just knocked on wood, and my dog is now going crazy. So sorry about that. As a kid, you have the little run in that you did something a little dumb, and that type of thing. Luckily, as far as injuries, I never had any experiences. But in Jackson, I did have several friends who were carted off, toboggan down different parts of the mountain.
Yeah.
Some helicopter, some sled. So really appreciate that type of thing. And then like what Patrol was doing in Jackson, and then obviously AVI mitigation is such a huge thing in this part of the country. Yeah. So learning more about that, and just in general learning more about snow science. Obviously, as you learn about snow science, to be able to ski the backcountry, Patrol comes right into that aspect. And then in the Rockies and the northern and the west and everywhere of the country, and even in the east, we skied Mount Washington in college and stuff like that, and avalanche danger is a thing there. So that comes across. So that was my main before working, was just those experiences, which were always positive. It was never, it was always a good experience for sure.
Yeah. So you had this idea going into it, and I know Craig has a question here, but just a reminder to our viewers, right? Throw your if you have a comment for Steve, hey, great work on the marketing, great work on Instagram. Throw it in the comments. If you have a question for Steve, whether it's about marketing or Powderfall, and not to put him on the spot too big here, but anything at the national office, throw those questions down in the comments. So, Craig, do you have another question for me?
Yeah.
And before that, it is a team of us. I don't want to Will Bruce and Beckett Stokes are, Beckett's the director of marketing communications, Will's the brand manager, and as a team, everything's a real team effort. So everything I say I would say hopefully goes for all of them, and definitely to everyone in the team.
We'll have to get them on the next show. We'll have to do a national office panel. Or maybe, Craig, we go out to Lakewood and we do a live broadcast from the national office.
Right from the national office.
I like that. Yeah.
There we go.
On location.
Now we're thinking big picture here.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in and you saw some of our promotions, some of our pictures ahead of time, Steve, I got to ask, those pictures that you sent us, where was that? The snow is deep. And believe it or not, folks, he looks like he knows what he's doing. You can shred.
This guy can
tell us about it.
So I grew up, I grew up skiing in Massachusetts, and it was the majority of the skiing was family vacations with my parents, and going up to Sunday River, going to Killington Sunday River, all that stuff, and then the occasional after school trip to Neshoba or something like that. It was really when I got to college and got to UVM, where I went to UVM because I could ski more, that I really met some kids that still my best friends today, guys in Jackson with, guys who've been in each other's weddings, that I started chasing them around because I'm the worst skier of all of them.
Wow.
That's me.
It was a pleasure to meet some of these guys, and chasing them around for years. It was either, I could ski with you guys or you're gone. So it was kind of one of those things, 4 years in college, 5 years in Jackson. It was a force to kind of, I cared about the sport a lot. In the off seasons, I trained as much as I could as far as dry land training. And when I got there, I really tried to care about it. And, it's a little bit easier to get over the head POW when you're 5'3". So, I can lower my hip and it looks deep. So it's a benefit.
That's because you're an East Coast guy at heart. We're not used to those big dumps. But hey, any questions from our moderators? Guys, get those questions going. If you got a question for Steve, let us know and we'll ask it here. Drop it in the comments. And remember, Steve's got some swag to give away at the end. And, he's got that cute dog. You're not giving Bodie away, are you? No?
No. Bodie is there. There's another decision that in our life that our dog is named after Bodie Miller.
Yeah.
Nice.
In our life again.
Nice.
So Steve, coming from this outsider's perspective, coming into the NSP, we talked about like what it was like leading up to you applying for the job and getting in there. After, and like we were kind of talking that you're one of the more like senior people there now, which is pretty sweet. What maybe like in your first year and a half, like what were some like cool projects or initiatives that kind of opened your eyes as to like the broad spectrum of the National Ski Patrol, or things that were really cool where we kind of see like we got up here these everyday heroes? Like what were some? Do you have a specific initiative or event or something like that you really enjoyed?
Yeah. So obviously my background in probably one of my bigger strengths is events. It's what I've been doing them for 10 years now on larger scales, smaller scales, whether it's a face-to-face meeting for the divisions, or whether it's just a party at outdoor retailer afterwards to raise money. Obviously, it was Powderfall when I was brought on. Powderfall was the main responsibility. I was kind of, when I walked in the door, was, hey, this is this event we're doing, and
you're up.
We need you to run every aspect of it, and that was it was really cool. It was something that it's always interesting kind of coming in and seeing an event as an outsider and seeing, wow, the things that are really cool about this, the things that, hey, you could tweak this that make it a little bit, make maybe it more efficient and stuff like that. So when I kind of say quote unquote took over Powderfall, it was there were a lot of people on staff who hadn't been before, so it was a learning experience for everyone. Megan Moshinsky that had been the ED for a couple of years prior, but hadn't attended a Powderfall yet. So it was a learning experience, but it's really cool because along the way, I always get these calls from people from all over the country. Hey, just want to let you know I've helped out. If you need anything in the past, let me know. And a lot of it was built out for me ahead of time. My predecessor did a great job building it up for me to take over, which I really appreciated. Which was amazing. So all that stuff was but it was, it was a welcoming experience for sure. And which I loved. And I think that speaks to the volume of just NSP volunteers and professional patrollers is they're willing to give their time, they're willing to give their effort, and they always want to help whenever they can, whether it's in a larger capacity or just, hey, if you need anything. The amount of people who on site were like, how you doing? Everything good? And yeah, fine. Well, do you need a beer? Well, I'll get a beer if you like. Really appreciated that. It was really great.
We got a question from the crowd, and guys, keep those questions coming.
Yeah, I see him in the comment box there. Here we go.
What do we got? Nice and loud.
He would like to know if any challenges that you've faced or overcome from promoting NSP as somebody who hasn't been a patroller.
And who asked that?
Katie.
My sister? Oh. Hey, Kate. All right, Steve, my sister Katie wants to know any challenges that you faced in promoting NSP, even though you didn't have that background experience as a patroller, right? That's the question. So, and did you face any challenges not having a patrol background?
I would say, yeah, there's a little bit of a challenge at first. One, I don't think you kind of have to, there's a respect for people who are patrollers who come in and, not having been a patroller. I think I had to earn that respect a little bit more, show people I understood what they were doing and I appreciated it. And it wasn't just a job to me, it was a passion. And I think that at first, just kind of showing people, hey, I'm like, I know the ski industry and I know the patrol side of things. There's challenges in every job when it comes down to when you first get your feet wet. And it's learning everything about it. But any organization that's been around for 80 plus years at this point, you want to learn all aspects of it. So obviously I can go and I can see what's happening right now. But what was going on 10 years ago? What was happening in the 80s? What was going on in the 1940s? Like what's the 10th Mountain Division and what's that all about? Like learning those things. There was a lot to take in because it's such a historic group of people. And it's an interesting group of people to me, and I love it. And it's something that was easy enough for me to get stoked on, to be able to be like, okay, now I know what needs to be promoted. What cool aspects of NSP do people not know about? I think that's one of my biggest things that we talk about in our meetings, and like when I talk to my friends about NSP and stuff like that, is like there's so many cool aspects of the group, and getting those on the forefront of like this is what we need to do to promote the organization, to get young people in there, to get people to medical professionals going. Obviously I'm the national office liaison, I don't know exact title, to the YAP committee, and working with Jason Danielin, we've had conversations of, hey, what's the next step? What can we get people how can we get people in that are younger? And that's always a discussion. I completely get it's probably one of my biggest, I won't say concerns, it's one of my things I always think about. What can we do? What can we promote? How can we promote it? How can we take the brand of NSP and push it to like, this is the brand and this is cool and this is it's a rad thing to do.
Wow, you stole the words that we were thinking right out of our mouth. Hey, Craig, I think maybe Steve deserves like a young adult advisor position.
You said it exactly correct. That's what we're trying to do here in the Eastern Division. We're trying to make ski patrolling, not that we have to make it, but we're trying to take ski patrolling and say, yes, this is cool. At 15, at 16, at 17, at 18, when you are a teenager, yes, you can have responsibility. You can have value. You can have leadership. You can be part of this cool, I don't want to call it a club, but this cool group of people, this collective group of people, and it can give you a lifelong goal. And that's what we're doing here in the Eastern Division with the young adult program. And you just said it so well. How do we bring it to the country? How do we bring it to the whole organization that, yes, young adults, you are valuable? That's what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
And you said that very well, sir.
Yeah. And on top of that, so you mentioned, right, that you're the liaison to the young adult committee. I mean, where do you, and especially like with the hype you just described, like where do you see the young adult program, not just us in the Eastern Division, but nationally? Like, what are your goals? Where do you see that program in 5 years from now, 10 years? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, obviously, there are obstacles to anything. I think a lot of the stuff that goes on Eastern, obviously, you guys have it very well dialed in, which is it's really cool to like see your program. You have your EDAP conference. You have you have a strong program, and it's really it's accepted by all of the resorts all over the region, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is continuing. One is going to be, and something we will continue to work with is as a group, Chris, obviously being part of it, Chris, building out a how-to guide at a very broad spectrum, because what you do, how you recruit young adults and how you can recruit young adults in Massachusetts differs from Ohio, differs from Colorado, differs from California.
Yeah. So true.
And really, but building because there's never going to be an out-of-box recruitment program. It's just, it doesn't work that way, whether it's a young adult patroller or whether it's an older person or older person by in their 20s.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but giving people the tools and creating those tools, I think is a huge thing. I think as far as the national YAP advisors, I think that's overall the goal of it. What we've all talked about is this is the goal. We know there's obstacles and everyone's always going to go, but this state doesn't allow because of this. Well, what can we do to tweak it? Like these are the things, and really just starting to recognize it. And I think that's something that everyone is on board for and really can.
Yeah.
And then from there, it creates a huge recruitment pool, because at national and divisional and regional, we have so many different recruitment tactics and kind of ideas that once we have something dialed in, if you can, hey, come here, work with this group, become a patroller, it's just making it a very clean transition from this is a cool idea to here's your program, you're on your way, is I think a great goal that we have and I know we can accomplish.
Yeah. And as you as the marketing manager, like what I think about too is like, yes, it's very different on how we may recruit, not just young adults, like you said, but any age patroller. But the one thing that I think a lot of young adults have in common is that they're pretty in tune with what's going on, and better than even me or Craig, God forbid, I don't want to say how old Craig is, but pretty in tune with like using social media and photography and video. And I mean, like some of the content that these kids come up with is like really cool, like really great pictures. I mean, not almost as good as like the pictures you sent us, not that they're photoshopped or anything, but
that's the marketing specialty.
The marketing specialty, but that's
that
really
wasn't me in any of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's just cool that like a young adult, like we have a young fellow in Alaska who's been following us and sending us awesome pictures, can get together and talk with a kid from Ohio or New York or New Jersey or whatever. So that's the beauty of it. But I think we have a question from the crowd here.
Yeah, Suraputta wanted to ask, how do we, and I'll say by we, how do current young adults as well as adults in NSP who support them market their worth to mountains that are considering having programs?
Yeah.
And maybe mindfulness that mountains have different personalities, whether it's sort of a family-run smaller mountain or a bigger sort of corporate-run mountain. How do we sell the value of young adults?
So the gist of the question for those at home, if you didn't hear, is how do we market that value of young adults, whether it's to the mountain management, adult patrollers who may not have the buy-in. Thanks, Surapetta, giving Steve the hard-hitting question here. I mean, that's a tough one, Steve. But what do you think? I mean, how do we get? I mean, you kind of led into it, but how do we get those people to buy into the program? What do you think there?
I think there's a few things. Obviously, on the national level and on the level of like the national committee, the YAP committee, it's coming up with making it easy for them to be able to implement a YAP program. Giving the steps, and we're working on it. And it's a hate thing. We're working on it, but we are. And it's always going to be a moving process. But I think it's really from my responsibility, from the NSP office responsibility, and from the national leadership responsibilities, creating a program that it is out of, like I one thing said, out of the box as you possibly can. So you give it to them and you say, hey, this is how you do it. And if we can give them the tools, I think they're going to be more receptive. I think also the idea of just selling the idea of, hey, going in and chatting and showing you're interested and asking questions and continuing to do that. And, you never want to say test them, but, there's plenty of times where it's like, if they don't have a program, you're really interested, there's no reason that there's a way you can get involved one way or another. And really even pushing the point of like be a little pushing and go, hey, what's your average age of your current patrol right now? Because I'm 16 and I think I bring it down quite a bit. And, I have 40 years ahead of me to be able to patrol for this mountain. I think that just alone goes, that should have a light bulb right there.
Exactly. So, and I think, and guys, keep those questions coming. Great ones. Keep those questions for Steve. And I think I look at my experience when I started as a young adult patroller 14 years ago. And I know, almost as long as Craig. And, I look back then, and just like you're talking about the structures and the programs there, or the information to be able to start stuff. Like back then, I mean, even at the local level, it was very tough to find that support. And I think just through a lot of work at the division level and at the national level, and even in the past couple of years, just like you said, Steve, like the office, the liaisons, the division and national YAP advisors have really been working on that and making it more accepted. I mean, I think it's just come leaps and bounds. And in my time at the NSP, I'm sure Craig would agree at his time. So I think that's great work that you guys are doing. And I think, like I said, the future depends on it. That's really key.
Yeah.
Craig, question or no?
I think we have another one.
Was there another question or no?
Not right now.
Nothing
Okay.
yet? Oh, well, then I'll ask him the next hard question. You want to ask him that hard one, or should I?
Go ahead, you can do it.
I'll ask him that hard one. So when you first heard about the YAP program, the young adult program, you're the brand new guy in the office. What were your thoughts?
So I met Craig, and I met you and Jason at a national board meeting my second week on the job.
Yeah, you were brand new.
I was my third or fourth day on the job.
Yeah.
And I was being called Little Pamulin, all that good stuff.
Good one.
And sorry, Jason. But no, I learned about the program through you guys quickly. You did a presentation. And I thought it was really cool. And one of the things that when the opportunity became available to work with that group, I expressed my interest because as a kid, I worked at camp. I worked at Camp Finberg in Norton, Massachusetts.
Wow.
And I was a camp counselor from age 16 to 20, 21, 22. My sister was as well. So I enjoyed working with kids at that age. And then I also helped do some basketball coaching growing up, stuff like that. So never was really a mentor, but really kind of enjoyed introducing a sport or introducing something to the youth. Basketball specifically, I was really stoked to be able to get a kid to help coach a kid to become a better basketball player.
Yeah.
Didn't really help me because I'm 5'3", like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that was kind of my reasoning behind it. I was like, well, this makes complete sense. It's kind of I can take what I enjoyed doing as a youth and now kind of push it to youth again. So I think I was really excited. It was interesting to learn about the program, and it's interesting to learn about the program in different divisions, which is really interesting. Like, it's cool to hear about Eastern. It's cool to see what's going on at Winter Park out here.
Yeah.
It's cool to see what's going on all over the country. And then with that, it's really neat to see, like, we partner with Cher Winter and She Jumps, who kind of are introducing patrolling to young kids all over the country. So seeing what those programs are doing and seeing what we're doing and just trying to create was of great interest to me. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I just had a thought that escaped me. Craig, got one?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, now that you're familiar with the young adult program, how does that mesh with marketing? Do we have any specific campaigns or anything in the works? Maybe some new gear or some new ideas, some fresh things coming down the line that maybe young adults or the younger generation may gravitate towards?
Absolutely. I'd say kind of as far as programs and recruitment and stuff like that that's going on last year for the first time on a national level. I know locally it's been done at a smaller level, but for the first time we partnered with Warren Miller Entertainment.
Yeah.
So ski films were always huge influential things to me, and the first ones I ever saw were Warren Miller. And every time I went to one, I'd go and you meet the athletes, or you meet all these things, and you're stoked on ski season. Well, for that, it was a no-brainer to partner with them and start making appearances at all their shows, start going to the shows and spinning a wheel and winning a prize. These hats specifically were designed as giveaways for Warren Miller. Shout out Andre. So that was something that we decided, it's an easy opportunity to go out, show we're part of the ski industry. We're part of this really cool, large industry as a whole that makes people so happy. But we're keeping people safe, and it's an opportunity that, hey, you can do this, and here are the benefits. You can ski at your resort, you can get pro forms, you can meet rad people from all over the country. And so what we did with that program is we started gathering emails and just talking to people, volunteers and myself on site, and we had thousands of people who came up and were interested, and it might have been because they just wanted to get a lip balm, but we do have people who have reached out of all ages. And I had a lot of people who were saying, my kid is really burnt out on racing. We love skiing,
Yeah.
burnt out in the race scene. What about what's patrolling all about? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
good, let's talk about patrolling. So I
Yeah.
think those national initiatives are huge.
Yeah.
On the swag level and all that stuff, we are putting together some cool swag recruitment packages that'll be out in the next couple of weeks, which we're stoked on. But then also just creating some cooler stuff. Our in-house designer, Will, has done these really cool SketchUps of patrollers with dogs, strollers, and sleds. Just really cool stuff. Very similar to some of the Sea to East swag that's out there.
Oh,
Sure.
wow.
So
Okay.
there you go.
Yeah.
And we definitely are thinking about throwing some of that stuff on a t-shirt, maybe throwing one on a mask, just making it really rad. So there's definitely, I think our team in-house, Beckett, Will, and I are always talking about what can we create to make, what's kind of cool, what's maybe like not, what's something we've never done or we've done, but maybe we can do as well, but now we can promote it more.
Yeah.
So, and you actually kind of gave the answer to my next question I was thinking of is like looking even bigger than just the young adult program, but like where do we see the marketing heading for the NSP? But I think you definitely kind of gave an answer already to that question, looking at the swag is part of it, but getting out there. And I was just thinking, like, hearing you talk about the Warren Miller events, like we usually work the Boston Ski Show, Craig and I, along with a lot of other patrollers. And it's the same thing. You just have hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of, not hundreds of thousands, but of people just coming up, and whether they want the free swag or the free, lip balm, or they're actually interested, it's a great opportunity. So yeah, I mean, anything else that you see, like big picture NSP headed, and maybe even like, corporate partnerships are a big thing too. Any cool stuff headed down the pipeline, you think? Yeah,
I think there are some cool stuff. Obviously, one of the biggest relationships we have, we're celebrating this year, is our 25th anniversary, our partnership with Subaru.
Yeah.
So we're stoked on that, and that's a huge opportunity, and I call it a content machine. We have 9 people from around the country, and just pumping out these great photos, great blogs, and all these things that we're able to use and then recycle into digital content that we can actually take, and then we can use, like, we have analytics behind who's viewing this, how long is it being viewed, what outlets are being used for, like, and we can see what's successful from there. And then from there, we can start to drive, we can take advantage of that. And we can start to really take, okay, this marketing campaign really works for, this demographic. Let's push it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So all those little opportunities with like creating content, as far as, and then also creating content for our members. We were talking about recruitment, we were talking about the Young Adult Patrol program, which is important. We need new people, but we also want to have retention, and that's a huge thing. We want to show people it's worthwhile to be a member of NSP, not just on the like, hey, I like patrol with my friends, but like there's benefits. There are the pro forms, Patagonia is pretty phenomenal, stuff like that. But then creating, we're hoping to start getting into podcasts ourselves and creating digital content and digital classes. And things that, in the year of COVID, Powderfall unfortunately had to postpone Powderfall. It was a really hard decision to make. And the hours and hours I spent going, okay, pros and cons, and pros.
Yeah. Hey, we've been in that boat, we know.
Exactly. From what you guys had to deal with it last year. This is the year that I think it'll be really cool to take an opportunity to really have digital content that we can hit more people by doing so. Like, we have 750 people who attend Powderfall. That's awesome. We have 30,000 plus members. Let's take some of that content and let's make it digital. Let's give the person who can't quite make it to Powderfall that year, give them the opportunity to have that education, and that whether it's basic education of like, avalanche safety, all but not basic, but like regular old education, or it's, hey, I've been applying to be a super ambassador. I really want to be one. I know I'll do a great job. What can I do to show you? Like, what are you looking for? And that's a huge, and creating a webinar with that, being like, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what sells.
Yeah. And I think it's cool because, it's something that you guys are looking at the national level, and it's something that also happens from the ground up too. I mean, like Craig, Craig and I are just 2 knuckleheads in a basement that were like, hey, COVID ruined the Eastern Division Young Adult Seminar, ruined the end of the season. Let's do some live streams and just like talk with random people about what it means to be patrolling. And then you guys got like my crazy buddy Mark Clem there with a big red microphone, like driving all around God's creation, interviewing everybody and their sister, you know? And so it's cool. You get people like doing ground up stuff, and you get you guys doing stuff from the top, and it just goes, it speaks to like what you talked about, the membership really having such a buy-in. And I think exactly like you said, a challenge for this year is like, how do we still get that message out on what we're doing? And how do we still keep that connection and that camaraderie of being a patroller? And I think we got a question from the audience here.
Actually, I have a question.
Oh, Laura's got a question.
So I'm curious, Chris and Craig are plugged into National Ski Patrol at maybe a different level than your average patroller. So they are very familiar with you and the work that you do. But I'm curious, for your average patroller who maybe is sort of meeting you for the first time through this live broadcast, what would you offer them in terms of ways that they can engage with you and other members of the national office? And what would you say are some of the benefits of having that engagement with more members of National Ski Patrol?
You want to repeat that question, Chris?
So just for people that may not have heard, all right, I got to sum this up. How does maybe not somebody in a position of leadership that may work with Steve or Beckett or anybody else in the national office, Megan, but how does the average line patroller or the average young adult patroller, how do they interact with Steve and get to know him and see what he does, or anybody in the national office for that matter, right? Is that the question? Yeah. So what do you think, Steve? That's a good one from the comment section over here on the couch.
No, it's a good question. And it's one of the things I think a lot of people don't realize that, we're an office of anywhere from 14, 17 people. Yeah. It's not like calling up the customer service line at Walmart where, you're going to get put on hold or anything like that. You may, but you can call and say something. But I would say if you want to speak with me or you want to speak with Beckett, shoot me an email. That's the biggest thing is we get a lot of emails, but I read them all and I check them all. And if you have a specific concern about something, you're going to get a response. And if it's something, I go, hey, here's my email response. But if there's something else, let's chat, let's talk. Specifically Powderfall, I spend a lot of time on the phone. It might be like, hey, sorry, we weren't able to choose your topic this year. It's just there were a lot of others ones that fit the kind of same bill, and we went one direction. And hey, well, can you go in more detail? I'll hop on the call with someone. That's what we're here for. At the end of the day, it's customer service regardless. Our national office is there to serve the membership. We're trying, on a bigger picture, we're trying to do a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, we're still there to make sure that the people who are members of NSP are stoked to be members still. And if they're not, why aren't you stoked? What do you need?
Right.
It's one thing if someone's just mad and being like, I don't like this right now because of blah, blah, blah. Well, what is it? Well, I'm just mad. Okay, well, I can't help you.
Exactly.
Exactly. But if you have ideas or constructive criticism or things that you think will benefit the entire association as a whole, nationally, you just your region, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Shoot us an email. We're a small team, but we all talk. The whole thing is whether it's Carrie, who's just an amazing person on that front end of just customer service and dealing with every type of situation, having the answers, and to our finance department who, hey, I need reimbursement. They're going to answer your question and they're going to do it the best that they can and very timely. That's our biggest goals. We're trying not to. I'm not going to let an email sit in my box that's important for more than a day. Unless I'm on vacation, then you can wait.
No, and I think I would challenge our viewers. That's the beauty of the time we live in with social media. Is maybe the average 20-year-old doesn't want to send Steve Binns an email, but hey, they'll post something on Instagram, and we're talking about creating content nationally. You don't have to be a Subaru ambassador. You don't have to be a big a famous photo editor to take some cool pictures. Take pictures of what you're doing on the hill or in training and post them, and NSP will share them. That's a beauty, like you said, Steve, of an organization with 30,000 members. That's a lot of people to help create some content and just get the good work out there that we're all doing, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, and that's especially it is hard to go through every once in a while. You realize you've missed your DMs for a few days, and you're like, oh man, or I didn't, and you're like, oh gosh, but we definitely do. We're always trying to share posts. We're always trying to. And there's posts we might not share every single one, but no, you're right. Chris, you and Jason still pump out, the Subaru TNT, and it's awesome to see. We're stoked. stuff. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people all over the country who are doing that, and it doesn't have to be. We love to see pictures that if you're gonna, tag us in it, mention us in it, and if it's you out there patrolling and you're rocking it and it's a cool picture, we're gonna share that. We love that stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
Cool. So Steve, I guess Craig, you got something?
I do. Maybe you're going to say what I'm going to say.
All right, go ahead.
But that's all right. So the title of our show is Everyday Heroes.
Thank you.
yeah. So why am I on here?
Well, let's get to that part.
Yeah.
Everyday heroes. And here you are, this guy who doesn't really have the patroller side background, and you come in as this outsider, if you will. We'll use that term loosely. And you fit right in. You're filling this role. You're meeting the needs of the membership. As you've been in the office 2.5 years, who are some of your everyday heroes with inside the National Ski Patrol organization? You get to meet the coolest people in the office.
Yeah.
You get to meet 30,000 members across the country. You've got to have some stories of, well, this guy or this gal or this cat
Or this dog.
Yeah, I mean,
Cat,
who are
come
some
on.
of the everyday heroes in your book?
Oh man, that's a loaded and tough question.
Yeah.
Because people will be upset
I
if
do work
Steve
with a
doesn't
lot of
mention
people across the spectrum, across the entire organization, all the divisions. Obviously, it is really impressive what the leadership does as volunteers, as much as they do. Every single person on the board, all the local PDs, everyone along line. It's really impressive. It's definitely I don't volunteer nearly as much as I should, and I definitely appreciate when people do, and it's amazing. It's also really cool though working with the Subaru partnerships and seeing some of these people, and I'm gonna say it, they're just badass.
Yeah.
And so I'll give a couple of shout outs, but Dave Watson, who is he's one of our current super ambassadors. I believe his handle is Lucky Dave Watson. If you want to see some really
There we
cool
go.
stuff.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. But what he's done, his stories, he's been, anything from, he was buried inbounds during an avalanche that he was helping mitigate, which is a blog on our website for, to he has skied Mount Everest, to he is actually in the original. So if you're familiar with the Ski Thieves company, it was Meathead Films when I was in college. Those guys are all around the same age, and Dave was part of some of those original videos back in the day.
Okay.
Awesome.
So in the association, he's just it's just cool to see what he does. There's some really cool stuff. I really impressed with honestly, Jason Tamulin's really cool stuff he's doing out there.
Yeah.
He's volunteering. He's a cop, so he's working his butt off all the time, especially in times where it's not easy to be a cop right now. One way or another, and what he's doing is really impressive. It's cool. So, got to give a shout out to Jason. What you guys are doing with this, honestly, really rad. I actually, when you guys started doing this, well done. I'm I really love seeing this. It's really cool. If you were doing a great job with it.
We're having fun.
We're
Yeah.
just having fun.
So, yeah.
And that's what we do, Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, absolutely. And then shout out to anyone who's doing anyone who's training a dog or doing ABI mitigation. All the Jacksons, those guys are ridiculous. It's it's not just you're up at 3 a.m. every day throwing bombs, digging pits, and all over the country. It's very impressive. So I'd say definitely go to our website and check out the bios to our Subaru ambassadors. We'll be switching them over. They got 2 more weeks before we start the new crew for the next year,
Awesome.
2 or 3 weeks or so. But check out their Instagram handles. There's some amazing photographers, people who just have amazing stories. We have some dog handlers. Drew Orkington, I can't speak highly enough of him. He's a Vail patroller who his photography is amazing. He's a dog handler. He does so much for us as an association as far as if I need a really great photo, he's out there shooting it for us. If I need a video edited, he's going to take care of it. He's going beyond, he's not, he's an ambassador for the Subaru, but he's an ambassador for the entire association. So
Yeah.
there's some shout outs.
So you wanted to know why we asked you to our show as an everyday hero. And let me answer that. I think all too often we as members forget we have access to the national office. We have access to you. We have access to things we need just by reaching out. And sometimes we, as the little patroller, I'm just an average guy. I'm not a hill chief. I'm not an RD. I'm not a DD. I'm not somebody big. What do I need to reach out to the national office for? And we forget that you guys in the national office are there day in, day out, doing the work on our behalf. So when I met you out at our national meeting, I had to say, sir, that you, in my book, are an everyday hero.
Well, I appreciate that.
Awesome. And thank you, Steve, for all your hard work and everybody at the national office. I think it goes without saying it includes everybody there.
That's right. As you've said before, it is a team effort. We recognize that. And so if you want to applaud everybody else, a pat on the back all the way around, we're saying you are our everyday hero. So thank you.
I guess we'll have to send them some young adult stickers, huh? Yeah. So, Steve, you got some stuff to give away, huh? Some swag.
I do have some swag.
All right.
Oh, I see there. Is there another question coming in? I see a few things rolling across our ticker here. Other comments?
They just want
Anything
the
else?
swag.
Oh, they just want the free stuff.
Yeah,
What?
people watching.
Steve is cool. Steve is hot. What is that, man? Who's writing that? Is that your mom?
Oh, man.
Oh.
Steve, what do you got, man? What do you want to give away to the viewers today?
So I got a couple items. We got a sweatshirt from National. So the sweatshirt that Craig's wearing right there.
Yeah.
We can get one of those. So if you answer the question, DM Craig and Christy or I guess EDF Instagram or whatever you do.
Yeah. So we got
whatever
Instagram.
size you let us know the size.
Yep.
Do we want these to be things we talked about, or do you want these to be NSP related?
We can do a little of both. I mean,
So we can see how well they're listening. If you want to ask them a personal question, something we talked about, or if you want to go down the NSP road, we're game for whatever works for you here.
Yeah, we'll do one easy question about what I was talking about, and then we'll do kind of a harder one, I guess. But so what college? Where did I go to college?
ooh, where'd you go to college?
Oh.
First one to drop
Here
it
we
in
go.
the
Chris is
comments.
looking.
Let's see. First one to drop it in the
Oh,
comments. Where did Steve go to college? Sometimes it takes a minute for people to jump in
lag
here.
time.
There's a lag.
There's a
There's a
lag.
lag.
All right, so we're waiting on the lag.
Oh.
Katie 180T UVM. All right, Katie 180T, DM us your address, and we'll hook you up with Steve. Awesome.
So address and sweatshirt size, please, and then we'll make sure that happens. We'll get that. We'll take care of that for you. Excellent.
Jen Ladle, I'll give him a close second.
Oh, and I
Oh,
see
Jen.
Jen Ladle
Yeah.
is right there with a UVM as well.
All right,
Nice,
Steve.
nice.
What do you got for? Yeah, Sue Rapetta. All right, Steve. You got another question here, or what?
Yeah, so for the second one, we have a Sun Mountain snowboard travel bag.
Ooh.
Oh,
For all the traveling that we're doing right now.
yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
So this will be let's do, what is the official birthday of National Ski Patrol?
Ooh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Do you know the answer?
Do I know the answer? The year? Yes.
Oh, okay. Steve,
We do have an official date though.
an official
Oh,
date.
boy.
All right, the official
I'm gonna have
date,
to go look
birth
it up
date
here.
of the National Ski Patrol. Steve, we did this on a previous episode where we asked a question and we had to look up the answer. So,
I commented and told you and confirmed it was the year.
Yes. Well, I knew the year.
yeah.
I don't know the official date.
All right, so the official date. Are we doing like a little leeway, like if they get within the same month, maybe, or something?
Let's say the month.
The month.
We'll give you a 1 in 12 shot.
All right, 1
Whoa,
in
whoa,
12.
that girl's just typing every month. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. What are you doing?
So win some
Well,
free swag here. What's the birth date of the National Ski Patrol?
All right.
Type it in the comments.
Here we go.
And share package. Hey, what's up, Chris Share? All right.
Seriously on here?
Yeah, he's on here. I know.
Nice.
October. Wait, is it October? No, sorry, Nathan Harvey, not October.
Nathan Harvey, October.
You guys watching over there too? All right. What month? What's the birth date of the National Ski Patrol? I think
everybody's on Google right
working
now.
that Google machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh.
Oh, that's just people joining in. What's the birth date of the National Ski Patrol?
This is a good Jeopardy question.
I think you really stumped him there, Mr. Binns.
Wow.
We can do another one. It might not even be Googleable, honestly. You might have to go back in.
Yeah.
Might have to open up that OEC book, you know?
All right, let's do an easier one.
Okay, here we go.
At which resort was NSP founded?
Oh,
yes,
come on.
yes,
What resort?
yes.
Hayden, you know? No? What resort was the NSP founded or its birthday?
I was a season pass holder there for 4 seasons.
Oh, so I'll give you a
Oh.
hint. It's close to UVM, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, where was the NSP founded?
Oh, we haven't.
Oh, Jen Ladela, February 1938. Is that what it was? February?
Nope.
No! Sorry, Jen.
Oh, Jen, go look it up quick. Run away.
But Jen, tell us where it was. You should know that one.
Jen,
Come
where? Come on.
Do you know this one?
Yes.
No, it's really this one I know. This one, yeah.
Were you going to give the answer?
Oh, Laura Tucker, Stowe, Vermont. All right. Steve, do you know Laura Tucker?
I do not know Laura Tucker. I don't believe so.
Yeah, Mother Tucker. She's a great one. So Laura Tucker, what did she win, Steve? A snowboard bag?
So it's a Sun Mountain snowboard travel bag that easily fits skis as well.
Oh, very
Excellent.
nice.
So
If she have her, if you want to DM your address and then you can send it my way, we'll send
Okay.
it from that. Both
Perfect.
Everything's national.
yeah, so congratulations, Laura Tucker. Awesome.
Jen might need an honorary prize.
Yeah, Jen- Jen's-
What's Jen still trying?
Yeah, Jen's
Jen's
typing
still
in
Googling?
March, April, May, June.
Oh, Jen.
So it was March 8th,
Oh,
1938.
March 8th. Yeah.
March 8th.
That's
I
so
did
That
not
is what
know
is on
that.
all our paperwork nationally and everything. That's when we were recognized.
Yeah,
Okay.
and fun fact, you can actually, when you're at Stowe, I've never been there, but you can actually go to the spot in the woods where Minnie Dole, Steve knows, right, where they had the conversation about starting the NSP. Pretty cool stuff.
Little plaque, yeah.
Sweet. Oh, Laura Tucker, I'll donate it to the YAP program. Wow, that's awesome.
Wow. Okay. We'll touch base after the show. We'll make
Yeah.
sure that happens. So thank you very much. Excellent job answering those questions.
Cool. Well, Steve, was that it? Were those the 2 prizes for tonight?
That's all I got.
Oh,
today.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
great.
So, Steve, we can't thank you enough. We can't thank you for giving out some free swag tonight. I know the viewers loved it. Who doesn't love free swag, you know? Again, like Craig said, you are and the national office are everyday heroes helping serve the organization, 30,000+ members strong. And you guys make it all happen for us. So it's a great team effort, and we can't thank you enough for all you do, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, same to you guys, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, we appreciate everyone, all the members. So, but thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
That was
No, this has been fun.
a
It's
great
always fun just
conversation.
to talk to somebody else, get a different perspective, different location, see what's happening across the organization. So we thank you for your time. We thank you for all you're doing at the national office. Again, sir, you are an everyday hero.
And Craig, should we let him know who our next guest is while we got Steve on the air?
We should.
All right. So our next episode of the Everyday Heroes live broadcast
Live.
is, well, wait a minute. Is it 1 person?
It is not.
Is it 2?
It is not.
Is it 3?
I don't know.
It's probably 4.
4. That would make a panel.
Yeah, we are having a recently graduated former young adult patroller panel live on the next Everyday Heroes live broadcast. So
wow, a
we'll-
panel of young adults.
a panel of recently graduated former young adults. But technicality.
Got
Whatever.
it.
So hey, it's gonna be a great episode. We're gonna talk with some former young adults about their experience, the NSP, a lot of what Steve talked about tonight, the future and where we're headed and what role they play in it. It's gonna be a great time. We're gonna have a couple of young adults here. So we'll get you that date coming up. But again, it's gonna be on a Thursday night. And hey everybody, thank you to all the everyday heroes out there. And thank
you much.
Mr. Binns, for a great night.
Later.